Hello and welcome to Easter Egg Hunting, a show that dissects your favorite games looking for hidden secrets and Easter eggs. We're gonna try our hardest to show you any and all Easter eggs that we can find in any game, and we'll even be throwing in a bit of trivia as well. We've now reached part 3 of our journey through the Fallout series, and we're still on Fallout 2, and this will be the last video covering that game. There are so many references in Fallout 2 that after 40 hours total of just searching through the game and trying to complete it to find all of them, there may be 1 or 2 tiny insignificant references we might have missed in this video, and for that we can only apologize, but we need to get on to Fallout 3, and there are just too many in Fallout 2 to count. So with that being said, let's get ready to finish off Fallout 2. Starting off again in New Reno to talk about lots of boxing and fighting references, the boxers will state Adrian, and cut me Mick, as well as Stuart Little talking about eating lightning and crapping thunder in references to Rocky.
You're gonna eat lightning and you're gonna crap thunder.
Before boxers head into the ring, Stuart Little also mentions the song Eye of the Tiger, which is the theme song of Rocky 3. Also worth mentioning is that there are several name choices for the prizefighter reputation title after winning a load of fights, and they are direct references to Rocky, such as Balboa, Apollo, Drago, and even Clubber Lang. Still in New Reno, there are many people who reference the boxer in the game known as Mike the Masticator and how much he likes ears, going as far as to bite them off. The characters Mike the Masticator and Evan Holyfeld, who are fought in the New Reno boxing matches, are references to Mike Tyson and the boxer whose ear he bit off, Evander Holyfield. Stuart Little also asked the Chosen One if they pity the fool, the catchphrase of Mr. T.
No, I don't hate Balboa, but I pity the fool.
When the Chosen One becomes a prizefighter, both Little Jesus Mordino and Ramirez will say, "Fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee." That's you right there. This plays off Muhammad Ali saying, "Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee." Going back to picking a prizefighter nickname, when Stuart Little talks to you about it, there are also some choices that reference the NES game Punch-Out, such as Glass Joe and Bald Bull. If the Chosen One is female and annoys Stuart Little though, he compares her to Lara Croft from the Tomb Raider franchise. Jumping away from fighting and into other subjects, a pornographic film named Top Bun is mentioned by Vicky Goldman much later into the game. This is a reference and spoof of the film Top Gun. New Reno prostitutes also reference the British girl group Spice Girls when they solicit their services, saying that they are either filthy, homely, slutty, old, or dirty spice. Much like in other Fallout games, when wearing power armor, you get some very different responses from NPCs, some of which even break the fourth wall. When wearing power armor around the casino, it will cause patrons to jokingly ask if it turns into a jet and flies around, a direct reference to Starscream of the Transformers. Not to mention, you can even get a Commando reference from a quote taken straight from the Arnold Schwarzenegger film if you look around the boxing area.
I eat green berets for breakfast.
Both the Desperado and Shark Club pit bosses will remark on Marcus the super mutant if he's your companion, saying that they don't care if he's one of the X-Men and that mutants have to stay outside, referencing the comic book franchise centered around superhero mutants, X-Men. Also, when becoming a made man with any crime family, Scarface is among the titles that the Chosen One can be known as, referencing the film of the same name. Back in the den though, some addicts will even say hello to my little friend, which is a quote from the very same film.
Say hello to my little friend!
If the Chosen One has low intelligence and is trying to gain an audience with Louis Salvatore, one line the character can say to the guard is, "Oog make mission statement." This is an exact quote from the 13th of October 1994 issue of the comic series Dilbert, where Dogbert is commenting on how the people in charge are usually out of touch and don't know what they're doing. When the Chosen One has either no reputation or the prizefighter, made man, and or slaver reputations, and if the companions Robo-Brain, Marcus, or Sullick are active, junkies will sometimes repeat Robert De Niro's famous line, "You talking to me? You talking to me?" from the film Taxi Driver.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
A reference to Lenny Small from Of Mice and Men and his obsession with rabbits is made in the character dialogue lines of players with, again, low intelligence when speaking to Miss Kitty in New Reno. In New Reno casinos, again while in power armor, one of the casino patrons may say, "You looking for your brother Robbie? You know, the robot?" Ah, never mind. This is a reference to Forbidden Planet. Also, in Vault City's vault on the first floor, the computers will randomly say, "Danger, Will Robinson." Yet another reference.
Danger, Will Robinson! Danger! No, Will Robinson!
An addict will also sometimes say, "Snoochie Boochies." This is a reference to Jason Mewes' character Jay in the Jay and Silent Bob duo from the View Ask universe.
Kneel before sun! Snoochie boochies!
A reference to the Silence of the Lambs is then made during the quest where you have to retrieve Chip's spleen from a doctor. He'll comment about how he's going to eat it later with fava beans and a Chianti, to which the Chosen One then asks if it's liver he should be eating it with.
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
A medical holodisc of Dr. H. Lecter is also present in the Sierra Depot. Holliday, Henry, and Johnson, the three mid-game doctors, are a reference to Doc Holliday, real name John Henry Holliday, a gunfighter, gambler, and dentist of the Wild West. Doc Holliday matches the unusual nickname, Dr. Henry matches the physical description, and Doc Johnson matches the profession, all while each three of their names references his real name. Going back near at the beginning of the game, asking the Dunton brothers about their meat jerky will make them say, "It's made with 11 herbs and spices and it's finger-licking good," referencing the KFC slogan used from 1956 to 2006. There's also a holodisc in the footlocker of the first tent on the left to the surface of the Mariposa military base that says the head of the Enclave excavation team was Colonel Sanders. If Dogmeat is attacked by the player while not a companion, a man named Mel will appear sometimes and retaliate. This is a reference to Mel Gibson's lead role in the Mad Max series. After completing the game as well, many NPCs will also sing a little of Tina Turner's Beyond Thunderdome, which was the theme to the Mad Max film of the same name, after destroying the oil rig. The town of Broken Hills is also a reference to the town of Broken Hill that The Road Warrior was filmed in. In the special encounter, the bridge keeper can be met. He will ask 3 questions and his final question is then counter-questioned by the Chosen One. He then dies like the Chosen One would have done if they answered the question incorrectly. This is a reference to a famous scene from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Who approaches the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3. What is your name? What is your quest? What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
What do you mean? An African or European swallow?
I don't know that.
Another special encounter, the Holy Hand Grenade, references the Holy Grail again, with King Arthur's knights, 4 knights in regular power armor, who inquire as to the whereabouts of the Holy Hand Grenade. In Klamath Canyon, the crashed vertibird robot that guards the vertibird wreckage says, "None shall pass," a nod to the Black Knight, again from the Holy Grail.
None shall pass.
While still in Klamath, go and talk to Jenny in the bathhouse, and one of the Chosen One's available options to say is, "Actually, I could use a bit of a rub, nudge nudge, wink wink," a reference to the candid photography sketch in Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Your wife interested in photography, eh? Photographs, eh? Snap, snap, grin, grin, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more.
A much more subtle Monty Python reference is also prevalent in Vault City's vault on the first floor, where the computers will randomly say "ping" in all caps, much like how the important machines in the Meaning of Life's hospital scene also say to sound more important.
What's that for?
That's the machine that goes ping.
The band 9 Inch Nails is referenced by a vagrant on the tanker when saying the line, "In fact, I would rather die than give you control." The mild delivery of this line is a contrast to the way it is sung in Head Like a Hole. Once the Chosen One completes the game, New Reno townsfolk will also announce that this game was brought to you by the letter Z. Not only does this break the fourth wall, but it also references Sesame Street's messages of a scene being sponsored by a letter of the alphabet. Throughout the game, there are many boxes of cheesy poofs in various areas, referencing South Park. Also, when offering T-Ray sex for batteries, his line,
"I just gave you sweet lovin' 5 minutes ago. You trying to kill me?"
is a reference to Chef's line from the episode Weight Gain 4000. When going to explore the ghost farm, when dropping in on the Slags accidentally, there is a reference to the Borg when they ask you, "Are you resisting?" And one of the responses is, "No, I know resistance is futile." Also at the ghost farm, the leader of the Slags is called Vegir. In Star Trek, there is an alien intelligence that found an Earth explorer, Voyager, that they referred to as V'ger, because the letters Oya on it were covered over with dirt. To go back to the robot in Klamath Canyon again, he will also occasionally say, V'ger, V'ger. There is a special encounter with a crashed shuttle from the USS Torres, which in itself might be a reference to Torres from Star Trek Voyager, with dead red shirts and a hypo. Captain Picard, the dead Enclave officer hiding in the military base, is also a reference to Jean-Luc Picard, captain of the USS Enterprise in Star Trek The Next Generation. There are several references made to the Star Wars franchise in Fallout 2. In Klamath, if Whiskey Bob is asked about the Den, he says, "You will not find a greater hive of scum and villainy." Now, where did I hear that? Obi-Wan first spoke this sentence in Star Wars, describing the Mos Eisley spaceport.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
When wearing power armor in New Reno, a porn star at the Golden Globe will remark,
Too short for a stormtrooper.
This line was originally spoken by Princess Leia in A New Hope. Another notable mention are when other random prostitutes remark about how you look like Darth Vader, spelt in an exaggerated fashion. Defeating the Enclave prompts a whole new set of float dialogue from Reno's citizens, including, "I feel a great disturbance, as if 100 evil bastards on an oil derrick suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. Strange." This is another variation of an Obi-Wan line, this time when the Death Star destroys Alderaan.
I felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
When on the final stretch of the game, going over to see Granite, in his dialogue he offhandedly mentions,
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
which is an approximation of a line said by stormtroopers under the influence of Obi-Wan's Jedi mind trick in A New Hope. On the lower right hand side of the map screen, there are stamps of TK421 and L5AA23 on the Vault-Tec Maps logo. Specifically TK421 being Luke's call sign when dressed as a stormtrooper, and L5AA23 referencing the location of Leia's cell on the Death Star, Level 5 Detention Block AA23. There's a reference to the Unwashed Village community that's one of the oldest Fallout communities in existence. The Unwashed Villagers present in a special encounter are some of the oldest and most respected members of the Unwashed Village, though the situation has changed over time. The spammer they are fighting is the Grim Reaper, or Grim, a legendary spammer who plagued the Interplay forum for a long time as the arch nemesis of the UV. Several members have unique entries in Fallout 2, including Thrakazog in an entry in a Hobologist holodisc, and the Enlightened One in the New California Republic. The Unwashed Village community still exists and thrives at unwashed.eu, combining both members old and new. Notable members include Buffy, Doombot, Panoply, Lurk, Ema, Iguana Eater, Night Owl, Shadow Dancer, Amish Commando, Alex and the Killer Bee, Hatchet Man, and Blue Cross. Much like in Fallout 1, there are several references made to the Wizard of Oz. In the NCR, New California Republic, there is a girl and a robot standing outside of a building. The girl's name is Dorothy, and her trusty robot who follows her everywhere is Toto. In the Tin Man special encounter, there is someone standing rigid and unmoving in power armor, saying repeatedly, "Oil can." When the Chosen One uses a nearby oil can on the figure's armor, the Tin Man walks away after gifting the Chosen One with a microfusion cell. If the player is wearing power armor again, for another Tin Man reference, a prostitute might sometimes say, "Look, Tin Man, if you want me to dress up as Dorothy or Toto, that's extra." After defeating the Enclave, Eldridge from his weapon shop will sing, "Ding dong, the Enclave's dead, the Enclave's dead," an altered form of the song the Munchkins sing when one of the Wicked Witches is killed by Dorothy's falling house.
Ding dong, the witch is dead, witch oh witch, the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead.
The description for the .44 revolver is the line spoken by Clint Eastwood at the end of the 1971 film Dirty Harry.
Being this is a .44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and would blow your head clean off. You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
An obvious reference to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is made with a special encounter with a dead carcass of a sperm whale and a broken houseplant, referencing the improbability drive of the ship, the Heart of Gold, that turns 2 nuclear missiles into a sperm whale and a bowl of petunias. To finish off with random dev team Easter eggs, the Chosen One's nephew standing by the well in Arroyo is called Fergus. This is likely a reference to Black Isle's founder, Fergus Orcart, the developer of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. Many tombstones in Golgotha and the Den also mention the names of people in the Fallout 2 team, including lots of people from Jeremy Barnes to Chris Avellone. In New Reno, there is graffiti of developer names like T-Ray. Tremel Ray Isaac, also known as T-Ray, is an artist who worked on Fallout and was the lead artist of Fallout 2. Bishop's Men and Reno townsfolk will also remark that New Reno was designed by Chris Avellone and scripted by Tom French. Rumor has it they will marry soon. Right teenagers mention New Reno's design as well, while adding on, Tom plays in a band and Chris plays with himself. Fluffers and New Reno prostitutes also mentioned that they were scripted by Tom French and remark that he has softer, gentle hands. Reno townsfolk and New Reno prostitutes remark that they miss Tim Kaine, who used to bake wonderful bread and then spank them like small children. The prostitutes will also sometimes mention that Chris Avellone and Tom French designed New Reno and that they are both sex gods, and that Tim Kaine is one of their regular customers. They will also remark on how many strippers were at Fergus Orcart's bachelor party. Finally, the addicts of the Den will question where Sasha is. This is a reference to Vince Donato. Although he is one of Interplay's old producers, he did not work on Fallout or Fallout 2. It was a small tradition to have his dog Sasha somewhere in an Interplay game. Sasha is normally placed in the special thanks section or in some other place in most of the older manuals. Hey everyone, and thanks so much for watching this video. Get ready for Fallout 3 Easter egg hunting next time. And until then, if you want to hear more of my stupid, horrendous voice, please click on the video on the screen right now to take you to my top 10 games that creep me out, got under my skin, made me feel a bit uncomfortable, because there may be a mention of Fallout in there somewhere, but that'll be spoiling, so go and see. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching, and thank you.